Bitcoin continues to rise, potentially reaching $120,000, following an inverse head and shoulders breakout.
The 50-day simple moving average and the Guppy multiple moving average indicator suggest increasing momentum.
However, there are reasons for caution.
Bitcoin is approaching the bull fatigue zone above $115,000, where momentum has weakened previously.
Futures traders have priced in significant Federal Reserve rate cuts by December 31, 2024.
This contrasts with other central banks like the European Central Bank.
Despite this, the dollar index remains stable, raising the question of whether rate cuts are already factored in.
If so, the dollar could recover, limiting gains in Bitcoin.
A new malware called ModStealer is stealing crypto wallet data and bypassing antivirus software.
It has been undetected for almost a month, according to security firm Mosul.
The malware targets developers through fake recruiter ads.
It uses a disguised Node.js script to avoid detection.
ModStealer scrambles its code to make it unreadable to antivirus tools.
This allows it to run undetected on Windows, Linux, and macOS systems.
It targets 56 browser wallet extensions to steal private keys and credentials.
It can also hijack clipboards, capture screens, and remotely control devices.
United States economic data suggests a potential stagflation scenario.
However, crypto market participants remain bullish on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
They anticipate Federal Reserve rate cuts and positive signals from traditional markets.
Consumer prices and unemployment benefit applications increased in August.
Despite this, the Standard & Poor's 500 reached new highs, and the dollar index fell.
Bitcoin briefly exceeded $116,000, building on recent gains.
Traders expect a 25 basis point rate cut on September 17.
They also anticipate further reductions through the end of the year.
Dogecoin surged nearly 6% to 26.1 cents in the past 24 hours.
Traders positioned for the debut of the first United States Dogecoin exchange-traded fund on September 12.
Anticipation of the DOGE product fueled heavy late session flows.
Whale accumulation exceeding 280 million Dogecoin also contributed to the surge.
The first United States Dogecoin exchange-traded fund is scheduled to begin trading on September 12.
This represents the first exchange-traded product linked to a meme coin.
Large holders accumulated more than 280 million Dogecoin leading up to the listing.
Analysts are focusing on whether Dogecoin can sustain closes above 26 cents.
XRP price climbed from $2.98 to $3.05 on September 11.
This represents a 1.85% gain.
Trading volume was 4 times higher than average due to strong institutional bids.
The token encountered resistance around $3.07.
XRP is consolidating between $3 and $3.07.
Analysts say that strong accumulation patterns are present.
However, high exchange reserves and ETF speculation add volatility.
Ripple partnered with banking giant BBVA to provide digital asset custody solutions, bolstering institutional legitimacy.
Coinbase analysts are optimistic about the fourth quarter.
They believe resilient liquidity, a favorable macro backdrop, and supportive regulatory signals could continue the crypto market rally.
Bitcoin continues to benefit from macro tailwinds.
It could outperform market expectations.
Analysts wrote that barring an energy price shock, the risk of disrupting United States monetary policy is low.
On-chain demand from digital asset treasuries is also expected to support prices.
One concern is Bitcoin has historically seen 6 straight September declines against the dollar.
However, this pattern did not occur in 2023 or 2024. Exchange-traded products are now the largest holders of Bitcoin.
They hold 1.47 million coins, about 7% of the total supply.
BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale led in holdings.
More investors are expected to enter the market.
A TrackInsight survey shows over half of professional investors plan to increase crypto ETF allocations by 2025.
Cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds ranked 8th in net inflows in the United States.
Solana and XRP are expected to debut as spot ETFs soon.
Canada has already launched spot ETFs for these cryptocurrencies. Markets are overlooking hotter than expected inflation data.
Investors are focusing on signs of a faltering United States labor market.
This shift suggests growing concern about an economic slowdown.
Initial jobless claims soared to 263,000 last week.
This is the highest level in nearly 4 years.
Crypto markets initially dipped on the inflation data but rebounded.
The employment data took center stage, boosting altcoins.
Solana rose 11% to its highest level since January.
Hedera's HBAR token saw a volatile 23-hour period between September 10th and 11th.
It swung in a narrow 5% band between $0.23 and $0.24.
The token dipped to its $0.23 support level early before rebounding on heavier than usual trading volumes.
Daily volume averaged 35.4 million, but activity surged to 156.1 million by midday September 11th.
This surge coincided with Grayscale's filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to convert its Hedera HBAR trust into an exchange-traded fund.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has set a November 12th deadline to decide on the proposed NASDAQ listing.
This makes the next 2 months pivotal for HBAR as institutional adoption prospects.
Analysts note that a close above $0.24 could open the door to a 25% rally toward the $0.25 target.
Galaxy, Circle, and Bitfarms saw double-digit gains as Bitcoin rose to its highest point since mid-August.
Galaxy Digital, led by Mike Novogratz, added 12%.
The company invested in Forward Industries' $1.65 billion fundraising to build a Solana treasury vehicle.
Bitfarms, a Bitcoin miner, also saw an 18% increase, extending gains to over 60% this week.
Circle, the USDC stablecoin issuer, experienced a 16% rally, possibly a technical rebound.
Coinbase, Robinhood, Mara Digital, and Riot platforms also advanced.
These gains outpaced broader equity markets like the Standard & Poor's 500 and Nasdaq 100.
Meanwhile, Bitcoin treasury vehicles Metaplanet and Nakamoto declined 10 and 14% respectively.
Kinetic, a liquid staking protocol, has seen a surge in inflows.
Users are flocking to farm the protocol's airdrop points campaign.
Total value locked has jumped from approximately $458 million to over $2.1 billion.
The amount of hype staked has climbed from under 10 million tokens to nearly 40 million.
Kinetic's points program opened mid-July, driving activity in its ecosystem.
Hyperliquid is becoming a decentralized finance heavyweight.
Liquidity, trading activity, and staking demand are migrating onto its ecosystem.
Staking hype through Kinetic allows users to earn standard staking rewards and accumulate points towards a potential airdrop.
The CoinDesk 20 is currently trading at 4207.6.
It is up 1.4% since 4 post-meridium Eastern Time on Wednesday.
This represents an increase of 58.34 points.
All 20 assets in the index are trading higher.
The leading gainers are Bitcoin Cash with a 3.8% increase.
Hedera Hashgraph is also performing well, up 2.7%.
Polkadot and Cardano are seeing smaller gains.
They are up 0.2% and 0.5% respectively.
Chainlink TokenLink crossed $24, advancing 2.5% on Thursday.
This follows an Oracle provider project with DigiFT and UBS to automate tokenized fund operations in Hong Kong.
The firms secured approval under Hong Kong's Cyberport blockchain and digital asset pilot subsidy scheme.
Their goal is to build automated infrastructure for tokenized financial products.
The partners plan to streamline how tokenized funds are distributed, settled, and managed.
Smart contracts will replace manual paperwork to cut costs and standardize fund operations.
Investors will place orders for UBS tokenized products through DigiFT smart contracts.
Chainlink's digital transfer agent framework will process transactions and record them on-chain.
United States inflation for August was higher than expected at 0.4%.
Economists had predicted 0.3%, following 0.2% in July.
Year over year, the Consumer Price Index increased by 2.9%, matching the forecast.
Core Consumer Price Index, excluding food and energy, also rose 0.3%, in line with predictions.
Bitcoin saw a small decline of about 0.5% after the data release.
United States Stock Index futures paired gains slightly.
The 10-year Treasury yield fell to 4.00%.
Gold recovered some earlier losses following the inflation news.
Smaller coins like MNT and Hash have seen increases of 8 to 28% in the past 24 hours.
This comes as major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin await the United States Consumer Price Index data.
Provenance Blockchain announced a model to adjust inflation rates based on current conditions.
This helps maintain network balance and protects stakers from diluted holdings.
Market gains could accelerate if the CPI numbers are lower than predicted.
This would increase the likelihood of a Federal Reserve rate cut.
Analysts at Pundits say this could trigger a short squeeze and push Bitcoin above 115,000.
However, stronger than expected inflation could push Bitcoin back down to the 108,500 to 109,000 range. Strategy was denied entry to the Standard & Poor's 500 index.
This happened despite Strategy meeting the technical requirements.
JP Morgan Chase & Company sees this as a sign of caution towards companies that act like Bitcoin funds.
This decision is a setback for Strategy and other companies using their balance sheets to accumulate Bitcoin.
Strategy is included in other major benchmarks like the Nasdaq 100 and Morgan Stanley Capital International indices.
This has quietly given Bitcoin a backdoor into retail and institutional portfolios.
JP Morgan Chase & Company warned that this Standard & Poor's 500 decision could limit that trend.
It may cause other index providers to rethink including companies with large Bitcoin holdings. That's a wrap on this episode of CryptoCast Daily. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time with more market updates, bold predictions, and fearless crypto insights.